Youth crime, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to talk about that. It's a metaphor for what? Stick around and listen tonight on the report from Tiger Mountain. All right, ladies and gentlemen, youth crime. We're going to talk about that tonight in the report from Tiger Mountain. It's a bit of a kind of metaphor, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen, for sort of, multicultural crime, black crime, isn't it? That's what it is. Let's call it what it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's, we hear of, youth crime being out of control in many of our major cities. Sydney, Melbourne, and particularly it seems like up in Queensland, and even up in the Northern Territory, obviously. So it seems like for whatever reason, young people are obviously probably getting into drugs too soon, and I'm not talking about smoking a little bit of marijuana. They're probably getting on ice in their teenage years, and that makes people crazy, ladies and gentlemen. It makes people crazy, and they're probably getting involved in high-level drug dealing, and that obviously creates almost like American gang-style situations, and then you just have people who are just openly hostile, overly aggressive. There was that poor old lady who got killed up in Queensland. What can be done about this? Obviously, I support the Thin Blue Line cracking down on this, but I think it's terrible that we live in a country where this is just now become a problem. It's almost like an American problem. It's not a problem we had to face in Australia until we embraced mass immigration. Whenever I see somebody killed, by somebody who is a foreign immigrant, I think, well, that is a death that was avoidable. You know what I mean? If that person had not been allowed into our country, who killed that Australian or that old grandmother who'd been living here her whole life until she got murdered one afternoon by some foreigner, I think, that is a crime that was avoidable. And, and obviously not every single, I'm not saying that every immigrant who comes here is a violent criminal. Of course that isn't true. But it's like, what is the price that we're willing to pay? That, some are coming from countries where trauma is, regular, and that they had terrible childhoods and terrible upbringings themselves in these foreign countries that were often war zones. So they've been brutalised, ladies and gentlemen. And, what do you get when you import people from, brutalised countries? When they come here, they're brutal. People from southern Sudan, the Sudanese or whatever, various other parts of Africa. It's no surprise, is it, ladies and gentlemen, that people who come from a brutalised environment turn out to be brutal and psychotic or sadistic or whatever. So, Australia can simply avoid this problem by tightening our immigration, because there's an old saying on the new right, the dissident right, that if you import the third world, you become the third world, and we don't want to become the third world. We'd like to remain the first world, ladies and gentlemen. So let's, vote for people like Pauline Hanson, Clyde Palmer, and even the not the Labor Party, what am I saying? I should give myself a slap. The Liberal Party, ladies and gentlemen, because at least they attempt to be tougher on immigration, even though the Liberal Party, has mostly deserted that platform, but it used to at least give some lip service to it. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. We need to get tough on youth crime, obviously through the police, but then, we also need to limit mass immigration and, begin to stabilise our societies and our civilization. And that's the report from Tiger Mountain this week. Thank you.